If you find yourself losing a little sleep here and there, you may be incurring some sleep debt. On today's episode, we will be talking about what sleep debt is, what it does to us, and if we can ever actually pay it back. I'm Jay, and this is Somnilopod. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm so glad that you joined me. In a recent episode, I mentioned a term that I wanted us to explore just a little bit more in depth, just so that you had a better understanding of what it is. I talked about sleep debt. And this is a term that's been used recently, in recent years, in the field of sleep medicine, and it actually refers to sleep deficit. For example, if we are supposed to be getting 8 hours of sleep and we're only getting 7 hours of sleep, then we are incurring a little bit of debt there, some sleep that our body really needs. And the conventional wisdom is that once you lose some sleep like that, that the body is already affected and you really can't pay that back. Some studies that sort of bear that out. Saw a recent study that talked about the use of light at night, sleeping with a light on, and the effect that it can have on your cardiovascular health and on your body's ability to metabolize insulin. And the scientists in the study found that after one night of having excess light in the bedroom, that the consequences to your cardiovascular and to your endocrine system were affected. So there are things that happen in a single night of lost sleep or a single night of sleep that is affected by something that can actually take us a while to sort of recuperate from. Other studies recently have started to show that if we are able to get a little extra sleep during those times when we are incurring some sleep debt, that we can mitigate some of the effects of that sleep debt. In addition, we can also do some things that can mitigate some of those problems. So let's talk a little bit about the consequences of sleep debt. And as I have pointed out in numerous episodes, losing sleep is never a good opportunity, simply because it's going to affect your body in a lot of different ways. Not only would a lot of people, if they've lost some sleep, feel fatigue during the day, but it also affects your ability to focus and to be efficient during the day. It weakens our immune system, keeps us from being able to effectively deal with certain pain issues. If we lose sleep, then we are more likely to feel pain a little more intensely. And it also affects our ability to store and to save information, because if we're not getting enough sleep, our brain doesn't have the opportunity to process memory the way it's supposed to. In addition, losing sleep can affect our blood pressure, as I mentioned, diabetes, cardiovascular health, and it can also lead to certain disorders that can affect our ability to lose weight. So it can cause our weight to increase as well. Now, I mentioned that most of the time when we lose sleep, we will often feel tired during the day. Now, there are some people who have chronic sleep restriction, and the research has actually shown that they don't necessarily always feel tired during the day. And this is one thing that those of us who suffer from insomnia, we sort of get that because you get used to maintaining at a lower level of alertness. So you just sort of get used to the fact that you're not quite as alert as you would be. So you don't necessarily recognize that feeling of fatigue or that feeling of being tired during the day. Now, how can we avoid getting sleep debt? Well, as we have mentioned in numerous episodes, getting the appropriate amount of sleep is what you really need. But how do you know how much sleep you need? We're really good about saying everybody needs to get their 8 hours. Some people need 8.5 hours. Other people can do well with 7 hours. So one of the things that I always like to point out to people is if you have the opportunity to just sort of let yourself do a free floating sleep schedule. Say you're on vacation for a week. Don't use an alarm clock. Go to bed when you feel tired and try to wake up at your typical time during the day. Your body will probably do that on its own. But one of the things that you may find is that your natural rhythm and the natural amount of time that your body needs may be a little different than what you're actually getting. So, for example, with myself, if I'm allowed to do something like that, I will tend to go to sleep a little bit later in the evening and wake up just a little bit later during the day. And typically, I personally find that I need about 8 hours to feel alert and refreshed during the day, and not have the need for coffee and be able to get through things, without any sort of energy drink or anything like that. So one other way you can sort of gauge how much sleep you really need and how much sleep you're getting is the use of a sleep diary. Now, I've got a simple sleep diary on the website, somnilopod.com, that you are free to download. It's just a PDF. But what it does, it helps you track over time the amount of sleep that you're getting so that you can just sort of get an idea of what you're doing. You can also develop a specific nighttime routine to sort of help yourself gauge and get used to getting to sleep when you need to. Now, I mentioned earlier going to sleep when you feel tired. Some of us, especially people with insomnia, feel a little bit of anxiety when we're getting ready to go to bed because we think, okay, it's 10 o'clock. I've got to be up at 6 o'clock, so I've only got 8 hours. So we need to make sure that I go to sleep, go to bed, go to sleep, get my full 8 hours, not wake up during the night. And it's sort of a vicious cycle. So one of the things that I always recommend is just when you're tired, go to bed. If you aren't tired, don't go to bed. Stay up. Do something, as far as your nighttime routine, do something that's not very stimulating. Read a book, read a magazine, do some light chores around the house. Try to keep the lights low in the house because you don't want to overstimulate yourself during that period of time. But those are some things that you can try to do to help yourself sort of get in line with how much sleep you really feel you need. Now, as far as recovering from sleep debt, some recent studies are showing that the effects of adding some extra sleep throughout the week or throughout our day may actually help mitigate some of the damage that is done when we lose a little bit of sleep. And it's not necessarily part of the way we would typically recommend patients recover from sleep debt, but taking some naps may actually help. And what that may do is lessen your fatigue, help improve your ability to concentrate during the day, and also sort of boost your energy. So that way you feel a little bit less sleepy and you can get through what you need. Now, these are short naps, 10 to 20 minute naps. I know if you're anything like me, 10 to 20 minutes doesn't even give you time to fall asleep. But if you're chronically sleep deprived, that may give you enough of a little bit of a boost just to get into a light stage of sleep to be able to get through the rest of your day. And there are some meditative techniques that can help you do that. So try to incorporate some meditation into your day as well, especially if you're going to be trying to take some naps. One of the things that I always think is interesting is when people report that they're starting to meditate. It really just helps them fall asleep. And you know what? I take that as a win. So try to get a little bit of extra sleep during the day if you can. Some people will try to sleep a little bit more on the weekends as well. Getting that little bit of extra sleep may help mitigate some of the problems, but overall, if you are sleeping an hour less each day than you normally would or that your body needs, you're not going to be able to catch up on those 7 hours on the weekend. Typically, if people, for example, if you would get up at 6 o'clock in the morning normally, but you sleep until noon on Saturday, that sleep that you're getting is going to be a little bit more disrupted and not quite as good because what we find is that the longer you spend in bed, especially if you're sleeping, the less solidified your sleep cycles are. So you're not necessarily getting the good, consistent sleep that you need. And finally, it's important to sort of reconsider or rethink our relationship with sleep. I've been a big proponent of making sleep a priority, and a lot of conventional wisdom and recommendation is that we think of sleep more as medicine, as a preventative medicine. You exercise so you can lose weight. You sleep so that you can maintain your health, so that you can remember things a little bit better, so you can have appropriate energy during the day to feel what you or to deal with what you need to deal with. So, having a look at your relationship with sleep and the amount of sleep that you're getting can help address some of the issues with sleep debt and help us to feel a little bit better and a little bit more refreshed during the day and hopefully avoid some of those long term consequences of having some chronic sleep debt. I hope this has been interesting for you. If you have any questions, please send those to me at j@somnilopod.com. You can also check out the YouTube channel as well as Facebook and Instagram, and you can get messages to me on all of those channels as well. So until next time, please remember to make sleep a priority. Thanks so much.